12 years old, I designed an ice cream for the premier ice cream company in New Zealand. It had like a blank ice cream, the stick at the bottom and then whatever else you wanted to put on the stick. So I came up with this idea of what I would thought the ultimate ice cream would be. You know, from my 10-year-old brain, I illustrated this thing and ended up winning. And I was so absolutely stoked. And I won a year's supply of ice cream, which for a 10-year-old is the equivalent of, you know, immortality. We won a trip to the ice cream factory. My whole class came along. It was like a real-life Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And at the time, I truly didn't believe I would like be happier than that moment. There happened to be a TV crew shooting a special on the ice cream factory the day that I was there, and they interviewed me and it went from there. It was, you know, some show in New Zealand called What Now? Just walk around and interview people, or kind of like be coaxed into interviewing people by, you know, someone helping me. You know, I went and saw a lady that had like sausage cats, like sausage dogs, but they were cats. She was breeding them and I would interview her, doing stuff like that. I don't agree with putting kids on TV at such a young age. No, I walked away and just wanted to skate, and I just did skating instead. You cannot, and you may never find it. In fact, I challenge you to dig it up. See, I always wondered if it was gonna surface, and now it finally has a chance to. God damn. That's a pretty funny story. I don't drive, so I'm always just skating around the street. I'm skating along, and I see like 2 blocks ahead of me, this guy walking down the street away from me. And even though I was 2 blocks away, I knew it was William Spencer. Simply by his stance and his motion, I knew it was William Spencer. I skated all the way up to him and I tapped him on the shoulder, and he turns around and looks me in the face and I say, "So this is how it happens." Because I always knew I was gonna meet the dude. How? I mean, he's too much of a weirdo for me to not be friends with him. Sure enough, I met him and he ended up becoming one of my closest buddies, and we're always skating together. Yeah, I mean, I think that the gear is nothing more than a visual foil, and people do read into it a little too much. I mean, at the end of the day, these are synthetic and organic fibers. They're the same thing you're wearing. They're the same thing anybody that you ever meet, aside from the naked guy in the street, is wearing. Clothes are external layers, and I think to see them as anything more than that is kind of shallow. I really enjoy it when dudes manufacture this you know, persona. It's fantastic. I could wear stuff from about a decade ago and it'd still work out. I don't own a normal t-shirt and jeans. Gave that up around the same time I walked away from the porno career. My porno career is over, man. I've done too much and worked too hard in that industry. There's a lot of, you know, reasons why I had to walk away that I can't exactly go back. In answer to your question, no, those days are over. What a lot of people don't understand about skating terminologies is that a lot of it isn't even derived from within skateboarding. Even the maritime world has contributions. Tick is turn inwards captain, tack, turn away captain. So tick-tack comes down to that naval beginning that I'm sure many people aren't familiar with. And probably one of the main reasons that skaters aren't familiar with that is because it's a bunch of bullshit and I just made it up. I mean, there's breaking it down into components that, you know, you can rearrange them, where I will write out all the trick names on little individual pieces of paper, shuffle them up and throw them out on the table and see whatever ones end up near each other. You can think of counterintuitive combinations that way, but you're never completely breaking free of the mold of your input. The way you see the world is kind of limited, but your imagination beyond that is limitless. I've come up with ideas by turning on raw skate footage, and I'll lie there in the dark with my eyes closed. And I will be imagining the beginning of a trick, and then I hear a new sound, and that will immediately fire a new imaginative idea. I guess you'd call it audio-based inspiration. It has to be seen in the mind's eye, and I found that playing that raw skate footage was a great way to stimulate that correlation. Novelty is derived from the Latin word novus, for new, original, unusual, inventive. A novelty is actually something I would aspire to be. As for gimmick, if you are able to fabricate a gimmick of your own and use it, then you're an artist. I absolutely skated very normal. You know, the dude that I idolized and wanted to emulate was Josh Kalis. There's a solid foundation of Josh Kalis inspired skateboarding there. The answer is yes, I did in 1965. I was then born in 1985, and now I'm sitting before you today. It kind of just carries on over from the next day. It's like this 24/7. I gotta stick it through because this sounds like the most hipster thing you can ever say. But I had this mustache before every hipster had it. Thereby saying it, I've again pulled myself into an infinite regressive hipsterdom. So the only way out of that is to have this thing until I'm an old man. I cannot walk away. As soon as I do, I'm part of the fad. If I stick this thing out well into when it becomes uncool, terribly uncool, tragically uncool, then I'm good. So me and the mustache are inseparable for life. I've totally come around to the new way of thinking that video pods are not 5-year endeavors anymore. They have to be instantaneous. And I'm happy to bring you more content as we move into 2013. My self-appointed purpose in this universe is to play with skateboarding's anomalous facets. Dudes like Go Miyagi and William Spencer, who are like kindred spirits to me, who are doing the same thing. We uncover possibilities and we actualize them and make them real. So to my detractors, feel that what I do is unnecessary, I invite you politely to try and stop me.